Hello, nature fan. Sorry, I hope you saw my message. I hope. I should have done it right after live, and I didn't. And couldn't get the thumbnail downloaded onto my phone. You've seen Star Wars, right? Hey, D-Man. So, is there I think it's Empire Strikes. I think it's Return of the Jedi. I saw a thing on YouTube. And it's been so long since I've seen it, I don't remember this. There's a scene where Han and Leia are on the Millennium Falcon. And they're in the area where Alderaan was. And Han gets up and leaves. And in the seat that he was sitting in, Anakin shows up and starts talking to Leia. And I'm thinking, that can't be right. It seemed very robotic. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but I'm like, I couldn't remember it. Okay, I think I need to send an actual link to Facebook. Okay, that's what threw me. But I didn't know if with the new edition that they brought out, like after all of the other episodes, if they put him in or not. Hey, how are you? This should be interesting. Tonight's live should be interesting. I don't have pictures for the plants. See, that's what I thought, but I was like, I don't remember. We're going to go over tonight uses of plants that have nothing to do with food, have nothing to do with medicine. They're not always going to be weird. Some of them will be. We're going to do this again with other plants, I think. I ended up with 37 plants total. And I know there is way more than this out there. I'm going to give it another minute. And then we'll get started. Because I don't know where Carrie's at. I don't know if she overslept. I did text her. Or message her the link. And I posted it to Facebook. So, we'll see. So, while we're waiting, I spent an hour working on my new character. Not this one, because he's the old one. He's the older one. I'm not messing with him. But I'm working with him. I really want to develop the character and make him feel like he's somebody instead of just somebody that I made up in a flash. So he was born November 30th, 1453, at the Feast of St. Andrew. His father is an actual person. Vlad the Fourth. He's a relative of Vlad the Impaler. He's actually the nephew. Turned at 23 by his uncle Vlad in 1476. He was dying because of an attack. He cries out for his mother, but his uncle meets him, heals him, but in the same process shares the curse. That was December 1476. Vlad is there to greet him as his vampiric sire. Then they go off to feed, and then he sees his father, who bestows upon him the 2 rings that you see, that you might be able to see on his hand. And then they go to England, sort of, okay, they go off to England, like in the book, and then he covers for his uncle. Police arrive. They get the property to the home. That's in 1890s. Drac gets unalived, and then that's where I stop. But anyway, guys, it's time to get started. So I am Charlie. This is the Natureverse 4.7, and tonight we are looking at plants and their uses that have nothing to do with food and medicine. So let's get into it. So first off, let's talk about things that might be a little bit creepy. Maybe, I don't know. Rowan or mountain ash was planted for a lot of different reasons. One of those reasons was to keep witches and fairies at bay. They had no power in their presence. It was also planted to protect livestock from curses, and I believe there's something about lightning as well. Now, there is such a thing as living fences. If you've never heard about this, it's usually plants that have thorns or spines. Hawthorn is one of those trees that could be used to keep people at bay or animals at bay. They have some serious spines on them. It's also something that I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the edible uses of plants because we can do that at a later date. Okay, that's getting annoying. I don't know if I can do this without messing everything up. Hopefully not. Good. Welcome, Carrie. And so what you would do as a farmer, either in America or in Europe, you would plant a hedgerow. And along that hedgerow, you would put in plants that had thorns. And that's what kept your livestock in your pasture. The wood could also be used, so you got food, you got a living fence, and you got wood to do things with. I don't know what number 3 was. Number 4 is holly. Now, you would have planted holly for many different reasons. One, there were some supernatural reasons for planting it, but also it was believed that if you hung it outside your home, it would protect your home from lightning. The root could be used to produce a yellow dye. Leaves could be split to make a primitive fish hook. If you've ever seen a holly leaf, they have that little hook, little spine on them. Elder, and we're talking elderberry, was used to make instruments. Don't do that because elderberry has poisons in it, and you could poison yourself using it for instruments, at least woodwind instruments. It was used for carving. It was used to make bellows to blow air at the base of a fire. An infusion of leaves was used to repel insects from gardens. You would also hang up flowers and leaves around your home to deter other pests. If I go too fast or if I'm talking too fast, tell me to slow down and I will slow down to make it easier. Rue, that's R-U-E, was used as an insect repellent. It also was used, I don't know if they still do it or not, it was also used, you would dip the leaves into holy water and then sprinkle it. It was put into books, so you would have your book, like this guy, right here, and you would stick rue leaves inside of it. I have no idea what that was. And that would protect your book from insects. The leaves were used to add to soaps, to add fragrance. Warning, rue is highly toxic. Yeah, not a good thing. Another thing is nettle, including stinging nettle. And if you've ever got into stinging nettle, you know how bad that feels. But if you let nettle grow and you let it die down and you dry it, or you chop it down or you cut it and then you dry it, you can break it up into fibers and use those fibers to make clothing, nets, even fishing line. And it was planted around beehives to protect the beehives, which is really cool. I forgot. I'm sorry. In my rush to get started, I forgot to do stuff. The house is empty tonight. And if you have questions about the plants, please ask. Because that's why I'm here. I'm here to answer questions as we go through this. Osage orange, if you don't live in the United States, this is a plant that produces a big green ball that looks sort of like a brain, oddly enough. Farmers would take saplings and they would sort of weave the sapling together, and as they grew, they would make a living fence. And again, Osage orange has spines on it, so that is something. It had really heavy wood, and so Native Americans would make war clubs out of the wood. Some people say that if you put a Osage orange into your house, it would chase spiders away. I don't believe that for 1 second. I'm trying to see if I have a tree book that would show that handy, but I don't. But anyway, moving on. Another one of those living fences would be honey locust. And let me tell you, honey locust is wicked. It is spines on top of spines on top of spines. So you might have a cluster of spines coming off the trunk, and on those spines you might have, it might look something like this. So here's your main spine. You might have another spine here, another spine here, and then here, and yeah, you could see where that could be an issue. The spines supposedly are so bad that they can puncture tires. Another plant from the UK is blackthorn. I've never seen it, but I've heard that it can be used to keep sheep and cattle within their pasture. And it has thorns on it, supposedly. Willow, if you're out and about in the wild, willow is one of those plants that you can use to weave. And you can weave baskets out of it. You can weave housing out of it. It can be used to make living fences. Now, dogbane. Dogbane is one of those plants you have to be careful with because it's toxic. But if you allow it to die down at the end of the year and you crush it, so you break it up, again, it produces fibers that have been used for bowstrings, fishing nets, and sewing thread. So a very, very useful plant. It's one of those plants that when my spring video comes out that I did with friends, you'll be able to see those plants. The inner bark of basswood or linden was also used to make cordage and used to make floor mats. Spruce roots were dug up, split, and used to sew birch bark canoes together. It's a natural waterproof and very strong. Milkweed seeds were actually the fluff that comes from milkweed. If you don't know what that is, there's a seed on it and it's really, really fluffy and floats through the air like dandelion seeds. Those could be stuffed into pillows. They stuffed them into soldiers' safety vest for when they fell in the water. Papyrus, which is from Egypt, was woven together. Again, you break it up and you make cordage, and that was used to make ropes. Papyrus was also used to make scrolls and was among the world's first paper. Now, if you know what you're doing, you guys are really quiet tonight, or something's not right. Can you guys hear me? I feel like it's really, really quiet. Well, yes, but dogbane is not hemp. They call it hemp. It's actually called Indian hemp, I believe, like Native American hemp. I am sorry, nature fan. Oak galls, if you know what you're doing, you can combine them up with other ingredients and make ink that you can actually write with. It is probably the ink that was used to write the Declaration of Independence. Woad, if you know anything about the Celts, woad, W-O-A-D, was collected and processed and made into body paints that was used when the Celts went into war. Pine pitch comes from pine trees, was boiled and used to make a waterproof glue that they could use to attach stones to arrowheads, or attach arrowheads to arrow shafts, to seal the seams on birch bark canoes. That's what the Native American is doing in the thumbnail. He is sealing the seams on his canoe. And pine cones, if you pay attention to pine cones, if there is a storm coming in, they will actually close up to protect their seeds. Birch bark, birch trees, used to make canoes. Also, birch tar was used to make an adhesive for tools. Going as far back as the Neanderthals. And if you're in a pinch, birch bark can also be used to make a bright torch. Acacia gum, also known as gum arabic, was used as a binder for ink, a glue for papyrus, and was used to stiffen the linen wraps that went on Egyptian mummies. Bouncing bet. Leaves and roots were boiled to make a soap, which is even used today with museums to clean textiles. Absolutely. A lot of trees have uses involving furniture and housing. Many, many trees. Which I don't really cover because I feel like that's just a thing. But cypress is good because cypress is decay resistant. So that's a big thing. Soap berries. These are used to make a cleaner that is both antibacterial and antifungal. Now, horsetail is a plant. It's called equisetum, and if you dry it and you sort of crumple it together, you can use it to clean pewter and milk pails. It actually has silicone or silica inside the stems, which makes it really rough. Now, yucca, and we're not talking about the root that you eat. This is yucca that grows the stem and has the white flowers on it. Anyway, the fibers from the roots are used to make a shampoo that was prized for hair. It's used to help start fires. The juice from this plant was used to stun and kill fish, making it easier for them to be caught for food. That purpose is illegal. You cannot do it. Don't do it. Hi, Dr. Who, What, Where. How are you? Bracken ferns. I found this interesting. The fronds would be burned and their ashes mixed with animal fat to make soap. Rhizomes were used to make leather, and the fronds would be laid down to make bedding. It would also be used to line ovens, and they were layered to dry food on them. Fight Club. Lavender would be scattered on perhaps the floors of homes back in the medieval period or earlier, and when walked on, they released their oils, which helped to repel bacteria, which helped to kill bacteria and repel fleas and lice. And it's not the only plant that they would have used this for. They may have also used rosemary, which could also be scattered on the floor. And again, you would walk on it release the oils, and those would help to kill bacteria and again repel fleas and lice. And if you lived in North America, we have a plant called fleabane. Looks a little bit like a daisy, but it's not a daisy. That can be hung up in a home, and that would help to keep bugs away. Lavender would be used to scent linens and help to clean floors. Bayberry. You may have heard of bayberry candles. The berries were boiled and the wax would be skimmed off the top of the water, and that was used to make candles. Mullein flowers. Mullein. The flower stalks would be dipped in tallow, which is beef fat, I believe, or animal fat, or a resin, and allowed to dry a little bit, and those would be used as torches going as far back as the Romans. So very cool. Now, depending upon where you lived, you would use oils for lamps. In some places, they would crush up olives, make olive oil, and that supplied light and maybe heat, but mostly light. And it produced very little smoke, but provided a flame. How are you, Doctor Who, What, and Where? Castor oil in ancient Egypt was used to light lamps. Yes, whale oil was used for lamps. Luckily, it is not now. Now, castor oil, yes, the same stuff you take if you're sick. Produced much more smoke than olive oil did. And my understanding is that's what they used in Egypt. Now, if you want to know the weather and you don't know if it's going to rain or not, try this. If you live in the United States or places where dandelions grow, try this and let me know if it works. Dandelion flowers. Oh, I had that. I had teeth extracted. Not fun. Just recently, actually. Dandelion flowers will close up their flowers if rain is coming. Good to know. Dandelion can also be used medicinally and as a food item. Silver maple, again, has some edible uses that we're not going to get into. But if rain is coming, they will curl up their leaves, and that's another sign that rain is coming. Common chickweed, which is one of my favorite little, if you're into edible plants, chickweed is one of those plants that hopefully you have in your yard, because as a spinach, it is really, really good. I even like it, and I don't like spinach. They will close up their flowers if rain is coming. Now, the problem with chickweed and doing the weather is chickweed flowers are pretty tiny. If you grow marigolds, and I don't know why you would, because they are just stinky. I don't know. Chicory, I know, is edible. Both the leaves and the roots. I don't know if it has other properties or not. If a marigold does not open by 7 a.m., you are going to have rain that day. In a garden, if they're around the right plants, they will keep pests away. If you put leaves, stems, and flowers into boiling water, Turn off the heat and allow it to cool. Remove the plant matter and put that fluid into a spray bottle. Add a teaspoon of liquid soap that you use to wash dishes with and spray it on your plants. It will keep pests away. We're only 30 minutes in and I'm done. I should have done way more. There are a bunch of other plants that have a whole lot of uses that you can use. We're going to do a part 2 to this at some point. And I promise you, yeah, marigolds are really smelly. There's also a marigold, and I don't know if it's the ones that we grow as here in the United States, but there's an edible marigold. My dad loves the stuff. I don't. I will grow it for different reasons, but not for that reason. Parsley. I believe parsley. Yeah, parsley is a garnish. It also has medicinal purposes. If you chew parsley, raw parsley, it neutralizes bad breath. Rubbing it on your skin helps with insect repellents. It can be used to mask the smell of corpses. Yay. Isn't that what you wanted to know? And so that's that. Cattail, personally, is one of my favorite plants. You can use it for weaving. You can use it as a fire starter. You can use it for pillows. You can, of course, eat it. Those are the uses that I can think of. Any other plants that you want me to look up? Yes, agave leaves were made for fiber, yes. Aloe can also be used, not aloe, but yucca can also be used for fibers. I don't know that much about St. John's wort other than medicinal. Now, I will tell you that ginger, that is the ginger root that you cook with, if I have a sour stomach, if I'm nauseated, if I'm gassy, I take a teaspoon to a tablespoon of ground ginger. I add that to my to water. I plug my nose and I drink it. And it's amazing. I swear by it. American Beautyberry, I don't know of other uses besides they make jam out of it, and it is edible. That's the problem, is a lot of plants are edible and or medicinal, and so other uses are kind of hard to take a nail on, so to speak. My favorite thing that I love is, or from this whole searching, was the woad. WOAD, being used as a body paint for the Celts. So when they went to fight, they would have blue skin. That came from the woad. Some plants, very, very toxic. I don't understand why people would use it. Ochre is not a plant. I believe that is a mineral. I could be wrong, but I think, yeah. We're going to talk about dyes later. Yeah, that is a pigment. It is iron oxide hydroxide. Yeah. I have never tried beautyberry, so I don't know what it tastes like. There's a lot of plants, a lot of plants that are used for coloring purposes, like the husk of black walnuts. Plants that were used for tanning purposes. So if a tree had lots of tannins in it, like oak leaves, could be used. YouTube Info Center. You're going to be reported. D-Man or Carrie, please report him for false information. Because this is not YouTube. I am sorry. I hope I handled that okay. There are an amazing variety of plants that could be used. Phragmites. If you live anywhere in the United States, you know Phragmites. Arrows. Yeah. Sand plums, sand cherries. My all-time favorite native fruit, the black raspberries, if you have them. And also pawpaw. I've never tried mayapple, but I've heard it's if it's there, it's edible. So just to be clear, YouTube typically is not going to come in and do that. They're not going to come in to a live and do that. I guarantee you that if I go in and I look at my channel dashboard, coal, I don't know. I will check in a second. Gosh darn it. No, some of these guys, they will, because we've had stuff like this before on my channel, and they literally would come, we've had them come in like one after another. Hi, user V2B. Yeah, so some things are going to be plant material, others are going to be minerals. It just varies depending upon what you're doing. For instance, frankincense. This is a one that is pretty famous. Is actually a resin or a sap. Oh, I hate when it does that. And so you would take it and you would sell it and make lots of money off of it. Another one of my favorite plants are the mints. And there's no sage. Sage is not just something you eat. Sage is another plant that does have medicinal uses. It is used as, if you put it into your fire, the oils in it help to repel mosquitoes. You can add it to potpourri and reefs. You can burn it as incense to get rid of bad odors, cooking or smoke smells. If you burn it in bundles, it helps to get rid of pests, mosquitoes, and flies. If you use it to rinse gray hair, it'll darken the gray hairs. It can be used in natural toothpaste, tooth powder, and mouthwash. And you can also use it to treat delicate linens to help keep them pest-free. And if you believe in it, it's used to, you sage your house with it to get rid of bad spirits. And some people believe that. So I'm not going to discredit that simply because I don't believe in it. I think that's important. Yeah, and let me tell you something. Just because you read about something being used for something doesn't mean it works. So, thyme, a natural moth repellent, a disinfectant, an aromatic put into household products. You put it into your bath water and it calms. It's supposed to calm you down. That's what they say. Yeah, supposedly if you take clove oil and you put it into like a bad tooth, it's said to um knock out the pain. I read where if you take the cloves, like ground cloves, and you make a paste and you rub that on your gums, it's supposed to take away tooth pain. I tried and it didn't do much. So I'm, like I said previously, super excited for this new character of mine. I have a ways to go before I'm. Yeah, I don't recommend swallowing it because it's a little. It's cloves are strong, so if you swallow it, does beetroot powder help ease pain? Uh, it says it does. Research indicates it reduces inflammation, lessens muscle soreness, so it could. Yeah, um, I don't like cabbage, so that's an issue. Um, again, I want to go over announcements because they're important. Friday's live is going to be spiders who copy who. So, spiders that mimic. It might be. You do want to be careful with cinnamon, though. Um, because there are some cinnamons that are not good for. We really shouldn't be using that often. So, 1 p.m. on Friday, we are doing spiders copy who. And then in the evening, we're going to do the same thing, but we're doing caterpillars. Saturday, I'm not going to be on for the 1 p.m. live. I'm not going to be on for the 6 p.m. live. I might be on for 3 o'clock. For a special 3 o'clock live, we're going to be doing Hector's dolphin and Atlantic humpback dolphin. That's going to be a learn to care. That next Tuesday, we're doing monthly round off and looking at plants who are dyes or that make dyes. I will eventually get around to doing posting videos. Is it round up? I have round off. That makes sense. Um, So if you missed the earlier live, I have a tendency, because I also write. Try to. Saturday, this Saturday. I like to sometimes toy around with my characters. This is going to be used in my stories. I know it's boring, and you guys already heard this, some of you, but this is a historical figure that has been blended with my face, my facial features, to make sort of a new person out of him. Well, he's not Loki. In fact, this guy, seriously, worse than Loki, depending upon your beliefs. His younger self, I've been told, looks like some actor whose first name is Timothy. This is a combination of, well, to some people, the guy that I'm blended with, this guy, is a hero too. So, what we did is we took off the hat that he always wears. We took away his mustache that he has. And then we blended him with me. This is Vlad Tepish blended with me. I don't see it. He was blended with my younger self. This guy is around, I think, 30 years old. This is the character that I'll be working with. Yes. The guy that Dracula is based on. This is the younger self, who does sort of look like that Timothy actor. I don't remember his last name. But this is the one that I'll be working with. I have a backstory sort of written up, at least part of it. I love it. Yes, Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, and what's funny is, I mean, I don't know if I can get them both in. You can sort of see it. He's got the same hair. Well, in this case, I grabbed, I might be able to show you. You think so? No. Not. I can't do any images until a later time. I'm a person, I don't believe in, like, generally speaking, I use AI as a tool. If I'm stuck on something, then I will work with it to establish what I'm trying to do. So I've never used that particular one. So the first one that I played with was Augustus Caesar. And you can see I used an image of a statue or a bust. And then working with it, we came up with this. That would be a modern take on Augustus. And then we toyed with it. This is the picture. This is the picture of me that I use when I did these characters. I don't know if I can blow it up for you. There, that's as good as I can do. That is me at 24. And a lot of times when I do these, I'm never happy with some of the results. And so it has to be squared away. But this is me and Augustus thrown together. That is me thrown together with Augustus Caesar. I don't see it. That was me. That was little old nature guy X76. The day that I graduated from college. Not high school, not junior high, but college. That is college. I was a college grad. Scary, huh? If you knew me back then, you would have thought I was a Doogie Howser. In fact, I had somebody ask me that if I was Doogie Howser, 14-year-old Doogie Howser. So, yeah, this is Vlad Tepes. This is one of the classic paintings slash wood carvings that you'll see of him. So the AI took that and played with it. The first thing that it did is it gave me this. And that sort of got the mustache, the hat. You can't really see the hair because the hair is really, really dark. But we had to get rid of the hat. The hat had to go. That had to go. That gave us that. I don't know if you guys can see that. That was the next step. And then we combined it. So we ended up with this once combined. It has my facial shape, the lean structure, youthful skin texture. It retains the approachable, slightly hidden smile. You guys tell me, would you approach him? I don't know. I don't think I would approach him. He looks approachable, like he's trying to zap you with his hypnotic stare and then chomp down on you. From Vlad, the nose, his unusual eye color, the characteristic heavy drooping mustache we got rid of. Extremely long, dark, wavy hair. Yes, very intimidating. Now, for the younger self, I wanted something. Oh, and then we did Edgar. Fun fact, I'm actually related to Edgar Allan Poe. This is us combined. And honestly, that does nothing for me. It's not. He looks like a professor. Like he would sit down at his desk and talk about writing or something. We also did Achilles. Now, I can't show you the entire picture of Achilles, but we did Achilles. But it messed up because when it did Achilles, it looked like it combined him with my vampire. Do I have a taste for that? Why? So then, this, yeah, that's what I was thinking, is he looks like Vlad. This is a slightly younger version of Vlad. And then we have, this is younger Vlad. Walking in a cemetery. And then this is younger self again. I don't use the cane, although he has one. He reminds me of, my character would never be out in the daylight like that. I wanted, so we ended up with this. And it's really dark. You can't really see the eyes. The walking stick is really amazing. It is like a goldish looking lion's head. I don't know why it gave him that, but it did. Now, I couldn't do the necklace. It wouldn't let me do the necklace that you see on the other guy. But we ended up with him. He's in red. He's in a red sweater with a black jacket, tennis shoes, and the walking stick. And I'm thinking he's going to be a fun character to work with, I think. I think he's going to be, if you read the other vampire story that I wrote, he's going to be much darker. Good night, guys. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get some work done. Something. Carrie, I may call because I want to talk through this. I want to talk to somebody about it. So, because I'm excited. This is not, I'm not working on this story yet. Not working on this story yet. But anyway, I'll call here in a second. Bye-bye. Be good, everybody. See you Friday.